Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be watching a major winter storm that be happening across portions of the Central Plains, eventually getting into portions of the Midwest, and even across portions of the Great Lakes. Even goes off the screen here across portions of the Great Lakes. This system will also bring the potential for a lot of rainfall across portions of Kentucky, Illinois, perhaps southern Indiana, maybe into portions of Missouri and Arkansas. And this system can also bring some severe weather. We'll be taking a look at all those things, but let's first take a look into the winter side of things with this system. And this is the high risk NAM with this. And eventually this snowstorm will start to get going by early Monday morning, which will make this a little bit bigger. And you can see here, we got some sleet, freezing rain, and at times heavy snow getting mixed in across those ridges there. Meanwhile, you're going to see some of these regions down here across portions of Texas and Oklahoma will start to get to some action of some severe weather. And as we kind of continue on here, you can see here we got a band of heavy snow across most of Kansas here, at least central and western Kansas. We also got some pretty good amount of freezing rain ongoing here. Speaking of freezing rain, if you're around like the Cincinnati, Ohio area, Lexington, Louisville, and south of Indianapolis, and probably close to Columbus, Ohio. Be careful on the roads this morning because we had multiple reports of accidents due to some freezing rain. We got some ice accumulation. We also got sleet and snow mixing in. The good news is for those regions, everybody should transition over to rain later today. So just to keep in mind of that. And getting back to this here, you can see here how that heavy snow really starts to continue on, eventually getting into Nebraska, Iowa, northern Missouri, eventually getting into northern Illinois, maybe getting into southern Wisconsin. It was a little bit further north before, but we have a little bit of a southerly shift here with the snowfall forecast here, which I'll show you guys my forecast in a moment. Then we gotta watch our next system here, which I do have a map out there for you guys there. And let's take a look into those snowfall amounts from this system here. And you can see here, so this is the Cuchera amounts. You can see here, there's a big swath of really getting to those red colors. That's over 10 inches of snow, which you got some areas picking up to a foot of snow, really from north central Kansas getting to southeastern Nebraska, to eventually getting to south central Iowa here. And it was a little bit further to the northwest before. Now we have a little bit of a southeasterly shift here from some of the models here. Northern Illinois is eventually getting back into Wisconsin. The high stamp does show, well, it's off the screen, but it does show pretty much generally speaking 3 to 5 inches of snow there. So Chicago actually may get a pretty good amount of snow from this system here. We're going to watch that closely there. And let's take a look into the HER model here. You can see here again in red that's over 10 inches of snow. It's even got some areas getting over a foot of snow in some regions here. Again, pretty much some of those same regions there like the high-risk dam had earlier. But it also does show some higher snowfall totals across northern Illinois with a general 5 to 8 inches. So we'll be watching that. Northern Missouri getting to some of the action. A pretty good chunk of Kansas and even Nebraska will likely be getting into some of the action here. And what's going to be really tough about this forecast here is even on the northern end and the southern end of this, it's going to be a very sharp cutoff, especially on the northern end here. I mean, if you live in your house, you may get an inch of snow, but if you drive a few miles down the road, it may be like about around 2 inches. Drive a few more miles, you eventually will hit more likely several inches and just kind of continues on from there. It's going to be something like that. It's just going to be that just sharp of a cutoff there. And that's what's going to make this snowfall forecast quite difficult here across these regions here. And that's where we're going to have the highest uncertainty here. Now, we do have really good confidence across some of these regions here that has some of the higher snowfall totals that can see a lot of snow. But again, we'll be watching that closely. And here's the high-rise Canadian, which is pretty aggressive with this. It's got some areas picking up to 2 feet of snow, but I think this is going to be way too aggressive. With the snow here, I think there will likely be some areas seeing over a foot of snow. I think that's a likely scenario, but I don't think we're going to reach to the 2 feet range there. That's a lot of snow there when you think about it. And you can see here, it's actually a little bit more similar to the Her model here across northern Illinois. It's also a little bit more widespread here. It's not as a high res, it's not really that high resolution model than what the Her in a high res dam is. But again, we'll be watching this pretty closely there. This is a Weather Predictioner's forecast here, and when you get to those red covers there, that's where we do expect some major impacts here. So pretty much speaking here, this is going to be a major winter storm across really anybody in the red here, across southern Iowa, southeastern Nebraska, north central Kansas, and even across northwestern Missouri. We'll expect to see some major impacts. Areas in orange, that's moderate impacts. Areas in yellow, that's just minor impacts. And the areas of light blue, that's limited impacts. So yeah, on that. And let's move our zoom here to the Midwest here. You can see here, they do show around Chicago having moderate impacts, and then eventually get into southern Michigan and northern Indiana and Ohio getting minor impacts from this system. Again, we'll be watching this closely. Let's take a look to my snowfall forecast with this, and like I said here, there's going to be a pretty good chance that some of these areas will expect to see over 12 inches of snow there, or over a foot of snow, I should say, which I do have northwestern Missouri, and I may expand that a little bit further to the southwest to include more of north central Kansas, but we'll see about that. Also got far southeastern Nebraska included, and eventually getting into southern Iowa there as well. So that's where I do expect to see pretty much the jackpot of the system here. Areas in the purple, that's where we do expect to see 8 to a foot of snow, and then we're going to have widespread 5 to 8 inch amounts here, which does include a good chunk of northern Illinois there. A lot of you guys could possibly see 5 to 8 inches of snow up there, even back across portions of Nebraska, and eventually getting back into Kansas there as well. Areas in this kind of blue color here, that's where we do expect to see 3 to 5 inches of snow. Areas in the light blue here, that's where we do expect to see 1 to 3 inches of snow. And then areas in the white, that's where we do expect really a trace to an inch or so. So it isn't really going to be that much for some of those regions there. But again, the northern end and the southern end, that's where we're going to have the highest uncertainty with this system here, because it's going to be a very sharp cutoff across those regions. But again, that's my forecast there. And with these black lines here, this is state borders, but this is the areas I'm only forecasting for the system here, which I know across when you get to the interior northeast, I know you guys are going to see some snow, but it's not really going to be a whole lot. We're probably talking about widespread amounts, 1 to 3 inches, and there will be some other areas that could see over 3 inches of snow. But right now, it's not looking too big of a deal for the interior northeast like it was earlier for some earlier model runs here. Let's talk about the severe weather side of things. So let's back up to day 1. So we got a slight risk for severe weather across uh, pretty much northeastern Texas, which it does include Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Plano, and Garland, Texas. Even includes southern Oklahoma. We got a marginal risk out for really anywhere from back across central Texas all the way up into most of Arkansas into southern Missouri, which includes places like Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Little Rock, Springfield, Missouri, and also Waco, Texas as well. Now the tornado threat is going to stay pretty low, 2% chance. That's a pretty low end chance. Damage winds is going to be there. There's a chance for that. And your hail is probably going to be your primary threat, where we have that very cold air aloft across some of those regions there. So those storms don't need to get too high to get into some very cold air, and you can see some hail out some of those storms. So, and when we get to day 2, which is tomorrow, we got a margin risk anywhere from northeastern Texas through most of Arkansas, southeastern Oklahoma, northwestern Louisiana, northern Mississippi, southeastern Missouri, western Tennessee, central and western Kentucky, and also southern Illinois. The tornado threat should be stayed back to around the Arctic Texas region. Damage winds is really for the Arctic Texas region to the Tennessee Valley, and the hail threat is looking to be the primary threat out of this here. Again, where we have that cold air aloft across those regions. So again, there's going to be a low end severe weather chance really today and also into tomorrow. So let's take a look into the HER model here with some of this, which is going to be off your screen here. Let me actually move that to the 7 Great Plains here. So this is the future track from the HER model. You can see here, it does show some pretty big time thunderstorms here across southeastern Oklahoma, eventually getting to northern Texas, although I think this is going to be overdone with some of these thunderstorms here. I think most of these thunderstorms are going to be kind of on the weaker side. We're also going to have a mid-level cap, which that's going to prevent thunderstorms to really develop all that much. And as we get later to the time frame here, here comes your cold front right here, and that's the area we're going to watch for some severe thunderstorms there. And as we continue on later down the road, you can see with that chance of severe weather does get up into across western Tennessee and eventually get into western Kentucky there. But then again, we're gonna watch for that. And when you get to those pink colors into some of these thunderstorms, that indicates some hail could be falling or just very heavy rain. So again, we'll be watching that closely there. And that's pretty much it for the severe weather side of things. Let's kind of move on with the flash flood threat pretty much. And we got to move our view to the Midwest. So there's going to be a lot of rain coming. And the bullseye region is really looking to be really across most of Kentucky here. Well, not most of Kentucky, but central and western Kentucky, probably southern Illinois, southeastern Missouri, or generally speaking, southern Missouri. Now, this is going to be overdone here. It shows a swath of 2 to 4 inches of rain across southern Kentucky, even getting into southern West Virginia into portions of Virginia. That's quite a bit of rain showing from the HER model, but I do think that's going to be overdone there. Let's look into the high-res NAM here. You can see the bullseye's a little bit more further north here. This is the area we're going to watch here for quite a bit of rain. That has a better chance of seeing up to 2 inches of rain. And there's going to be other isolated areas here and there as well. You could tell there by the high-res NAM. And then as we look into the high-res Canadian with this, you can see there's a little bit further north. It's also quite widespread, showing some areas that could see anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain across a pretty good chunk of Kentucky here, even getting to portions of West Virginia, portions of Tennessee, and also portions of Indiana, Missouri, and maybe in back across Arkansas. And this is the National Weather Service forecast here. You can see lower end amounts, but it does show a few bullseyes here and there. You can see here's one across central Kentucky, got another one across southern Illinois, and you got another one here across portions of Arkansas and Oklahoma there as well. And I think where the better chance to see quite a bit of rain out of the system is really going to be somewhere really right in here is where we're going to watch for the potential for quite a bit of rain here. These areas probably have a better chance of seeing up to 3 inches of rain, even back across some of these regions there as well. And generally speaking, this is the areas we're going to watch here for really the chance for any local high water issues. However, the ground is not really saturated. It's actually been very dry for the past several weeks. So some of these areas actually do need some rain, so this is going to be good news for some of those folks there. And speaking for a lot of rain, we'll very briefly look into the west here. I almost forgot, but let's actually going to get done with this section here. You can see the Weather Prediction Center actually has a bullseye more across central and western Kentucky with 2 to 3 inch amounts there. And let's actually kind of look quickly back across the western United States, which is something I need to talk about here because there is going to be, and this is good news for California, Arizona, portions of Nevada. These folks are going to see a lot of rain, and I mean a lot of rain and even a lot of snow. So let's take a look into the European model. So you can see here there goes one low pressure system, which is right around Monday into Tuesday. Here comes another one by Wednesday and Thursday. Another one later in the week. There goes another system, and there goes another system there as well. So these guys here are going to have multiple rounds of rain and also very heavy snow across those mountainous regions there. And if we take a look to snowfall amounts across those higher elevations, and you can see here, look at all that snow showing up pretty much around the next 10 days. The Sierra Mountains in California, some areas showing nearly 100 inches of snow. Going to Northern California, some areas picking up several feet of snow. Looking back across Arizona, some areas picking up to 3 feet of snow. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of snow coming for a lot of these higher elevations, and they need this badly. They are extremely dry. They definitely need rain very badly. It looks like they're finally able to get quite a bit of rain for the next week or two. And this is the European Monofil's rainfall amounts. You can see for some of these lower elevations, it's really anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of rain. And this is really good news for California here. If anybody lives in California, I'm sure everybody's going to be really happy with this here because a lot of these areas need rain badly. Even back across Arizona and even into portions of Nevada here, it's going to see quite a bit of rain here for the next 10 days. So this is really good news for some of those areas there, and this pattern could continue for a while here. That's what's indicated by the Climate Prediction Center there as well. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really do like my channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys got questions about this, you put a comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.